Hello again, I'm joined by our crime and court reporter Taylor MacPherson. Taylor, of course, on PA Now and our sister portals covering the Gerald Stanley second-degree murder trial. Taylor, we know there's a lot of politics going on in this trial, elements of racism. Tell me more, though, what we don't see in court, the human elements of what's going on.
Well, we can't forget that throughout all of this, a 22-year-old man lost his life and a 56-year-old man's life is forever changed. We saw a little bit of the human side of Gerald Stanley on Monday. Throughout the whole thing, or the proceedings, Stanley has really been portrayed as sort of this faceless character. He was Gerald Stanley. It sounds very formal, but on the stand, the first thing he did was introduce himself as Jerry, which I thought got a lot of people to look at him in a little bit of a different light. Obviously, we heard him speak at length for the first time on Monday, but on the other side of the trial, we can't forget that a young man has lost his life permanently.
And perhaps let me jump in there. When we talk about the other side, when we talk about Bushi's family, we tend to see them at the moment in the media as a family in and a family of protest, because they're outside the court and they're protesting about what's gone on here. Share with me somewhat, Taylor, the human elements of the Bushi family you're seeing inside the court.
Well, certainly we've heard from the Bushi family every time that something's upset them, and obviously they've lost a young member of their family. They have a lot to be upset about throughout the trial. But it's important to remember that they are dealing with a death, and even though it happened in 2016, it still feels very fresh to a lot of them. Particularly, there was a moment on Monday where Gerald Stanley, on the stand, held the Tokarev pistol that fired the shot that killed Debbie Baptiste's son. So certainly the family must have been very uncomfortable during some of those moments. We can't forget that there's humanity on both sides.
Okay, and it's not our job here to prejudge or cast or opinionate about what's going to happen. There's a jury. There are 12 human beings who'll decide the outcome of this. How might the human elements of this case have been absorbed by them, Taylor?
Well, it's very difficult to say, to judge someone who you've never heard speak. The jury will never have to explain why they found Stanley guilty or not guilty, as the case may be. But it's important to remember that they're also told to disregard any sort of sympathy, any prejudices they may have. They're told to base their decisions entirely on the facts. Now, we know that jurors are human like the rest of us, so it seems like the lawyer and the prosecutor on both sides are really trying to humanize their respective sides of the case.
Okay, as always, keep it with PA Now, in this case with Taylor MacPherson's excellent coverage of the Gerald Stanley second-degree murder trial.